And Joni's on here too. I don't know if you heard her say that.
I heard her say it. Okay. Does everybody have their book?
Yes.
Yes.
That's what's also about Kindle. You can get it on Kindle just like this. But I had it on Kindle, but I had to get it on regular too because I kept thinking, I don't know how to assign how much to give you guys. You know, like how many pages it really is. On Kindle, you can't really tell. Brandy, did you get it?
No, I don't have a book yet.
Well, it's got a little test at the beginning, and all I asked everybody to do was the little test at the beginning to kind of find out what level you're at for leadership. So let's just review real quickly the 5 levels. The entry level is level 1 position. That's when you're like given a level of leadership. This is a level of opportunity to prove yourself. Level 2 is relationship. What do they call? Level 1 is position.
Permission.
Yeah, level 1 is position, where you just have the position of leadership. Level 2 is permission, which is focused more on relationships. People follow you because they want to. Level 3 is production, and that is where it's focused on results. And then level 4 is people development, and that's where you're focused on reproduction and really reproducing yourself. And Pinnacle is very rare. There aren't a lot of people at that level. And that's where I think of like Celeste, where you really are making a legacy of lots of people following and reproducing what you're doing. How about if I just start with a little prayer? Is that okay?
Perfect.
Okay. Lord Jesus, thank you so much for these leaders that you've brought to our group. God, I pray that you would show me how to be a better leader and show each of us, Lord, the areas you want us to work on. I thank you for John Maxwell for this book, and use it to speak to us right where we are, whatever level we're at, Lord, and show us how to take our leadership to the next level, to have an impact on this world for your sake, not for an income or even for people's health, but for your sake of spreading your love and your glory, your mercy, your forgiveness. In Jesus' name, amen. I'm going to make myself cry before we even get started. Okay, he does this little bit about the insights into the different levels. Did you all have a chance to look at that?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you all like this book so far? Which is what it's talking about?
I honestly haven't looked at it yet.
Well, I've looked at it. You know, I'm a law firm administrator, so this was also, I was reading it, looking at that as well, because I have to lead a lot of people when I'm dealing with employees. So it was interesting to take it both to my job and my Plexus job, and seeing where I could go with this. I think it's going to be a very helpful, interesting book. And when I got a chance to have somebody else take their test of me, of what they thought of me, as opposed to what I thought of me, as if I was answering for them, it was totally different.
Really?
Yeah. So, in a good way.
I would love to have you all do it for me, but I don't want to put you on the spot. You know, it's hard to do that anonymously. But I really want to know.
Well,
I'm doing this as much for me as for you all. I feel like, you know, I watched Tara Castaneda's video, one of her videos, and she talked about she didn't read this book until she was at Emerald. And what she realized, and I want us to really be thinking about this, is that each rank, you're drawing on a different level of leadership. Like, you really can't get to even senior gold without reproducing. You know, you can't get there just by recruiting 50 people or whatever it takes. Like, you really have to have people leading underneath you. And she wished she had read it earlier, like at Gold or Senior Gold. And that's what made me think, like, this is what we need.
I'm
Okay.
having a hard time, I'll just say, with, I guess because my team is so little bitty and they're, that I'm like picturing my leadership of when I was teaching and those people that were working, my assistants and them. I can't, it is not even comparing to where I am with Plexus. You know what I'm saying? And then being a stay-at-home mom for so long, I'm having a hard time answering the questions.
Yeah.
As to pose what position. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know how to.
Well, I think if you think back to when you were in a leadership position, I've done the 21 refutable laws of leadership with Aaron, and I was kind of feeling the same way, Allison, because I mean, my gosh, it's been 7 years since I quit my job once the twins were born, and I had to kind of go back to that to think, when I was in that position. So if you just think about your roles prior and think about your roles at your house too, in your home, that those apply as well.
But it's hard to think about how I lead 4 tyrants. It's so
You
tough.
do an amazing job.
How many of us are doing that, stepping into a new position of leadership, unlike maybe what we've done for a while. By the way, Tanya, I am so jealous of the position you're in right now.
Can
It
you
looks like a picture.
Can you hear her snoring?
So sweet.
Oh,
She has strep throat. Her fever still hasn't broken. She's
bless
out.
her heart.
Well,
Well,
let's
it
look
looks
at,
like a picture.
we'll go over just these insights about the 5 levels that I thought were interesting. And that is, you can move up a level, but you can never leave the previous one behind. So these build on each other in a way that you can never stop doing the things on level 2. Even when you're at level 4, you can't stop doing the things you did at level 2. So that's why we really have to, even if we do the test and we're at level 5, we still need to pay attention to all the other levels. And the second thing was, you're not on the same level with every person. So let's say, I've got a team of 10 or 12 of you guys that are leaders, and I may not be on the same level with each of you. One of you, I may be only a level 2, and one of you, I may be a level 4, depending on how I'm operating as a leader and how you're seeing me as a leader. So it's the same way with your level 1s. You may have somebody that's a super duper level 4 who's a level 1 for you, and I mean a leadership level 4. They're a super duper leader. They really don't need you to lead them at a level 3 or 4. They just need you to be available. So I thought that was interesting, that like if you did a poll of all your coworkers, like Joni, who's working right now, she did a poll of all of her coworkers. She might be at a different level of leadership with each of them. They might view her in a different way. Okay, then it says the higher you go, the easier it is to lead. I hope that's true. Although you guys make it, I feel like you all as my level 1s make it so easy to lead. You all are great about taking it on, doing the next thing without me having to micromanage. But at the same time, the higher you go, the more time and commitment is required to win the level. So it's kind of like our ranks in Plexus. The higher you go, like for Brandy and I to get from Senior Ruby to Emerald, we have to double our team of 750. So you have to double your points from 750 to 1500, which feels enormous. Where, getting even from silver to gold, it's more than doubling, but it's not so many people. So it's the same thing with leadership, that to get to the next level. And my thing is, I think to get to the next level of leadership requires such self-scrutiny, really being honest with ourselves about where we're leading the way we ought to be leading and where we're lacking. And I really want you all to know I want your feedback. I want your honest feedback about my leadership, not just like, oh, you're so great. I really want, like, I need you to help me more in this area, or I wish you were doing more in this area. Because I do feel like I want to get to the next level of leadership without your honest feedback. I don't know what you all need. And, one of the things I decided too about this group, we talked about including level 2s. And I really considered that and prayed about it and thought about it. But I think you guys need to have a place to vent and be honest about your own struggles as you lead without your level 2s being here. So you need to be able to say, I'm struggling. I've got a level 2 that wants to take over, or I've got a level 2 that I'm having to drag along. And you don't want your other level 2 to hear that, So that's I wanted you to know that's part of why I made that decision. Then he talks about moving up levels occur slowly, but going down can happen quickly. It's like politics. I always think it takes so much time and so much money to rise in politics, but it takes 1 minute of a bad interview to fall down. I mean, I look at Al Gore and I think he went from almost president to nothing overnight, and what a hard fall that is. And so I think that's true of leadership too. The higher you go, the greater the return is. And I think in our business, it's because the higher you go exponentially, the return is greater. Because as you lead and you multiply and you duplicate what you're doing, and people emulate what you're doing and follow what you're doing, then they multiply, and you're not having to drag them along and tell them every step. Moving further up always requires further growth. And I think that means in us personally. And it means taking a hard look at ourselves to say, where am I failing as a leader? Where could I be doing more? Not climbing the levels, if you're just content to stay where you are, doesn't just limit you, but it limits your people. If you're willing to stay at level 3 and never get to the point of duplicating, it's going to be harder for you. You're going to be having to handhold every person that comes along. And it's going to be harder for your people because they're never going to get the independence to be able to just really take off on their own. Does that make sense? When you change positions or organizations, you seldom stay at the same level. And you can't climb the levels alone. So I think we all know that. You all are at that place of growth within our company to see really, even once you getting from silver to gold is so much easier when you have team members that are business builders. It happens so much faster. But from gold to senior gold, you just almost can't do that without team members that are business building. It's really hard to do that on your own and just recruit that many level 1s. And I'll tell you all, just to be really vulnerable, we were at the Leslie Zann conference yesterday, and she was fantastic. What was so, so great, everything she does is really practical. It's not all this pie in the sky, like, think positive and good things will happen. Like, she's like, do this, do this, do this, do this. She was really practical. And I'm convinced, I've based so much of the new training stuff on Tamara Holloway and the 3-way calls and online meetings. Everything Leslie Zann said went right along with what we're doing and the changes we're making. And so I'm convinced that Tamara Holloway at some point went to a Leslie Zann meeting and started applying all this stuff, and now it's filtered down to us, even though we're not in her downline. And so it just went right along. Like, we really, Melissa Waldrop and I talked about bringing her back, to a central location where we could have her team and our team and have you all be able to participate. It was from 9 to 3, no lunch break, anything like that. I mean, it was all practical.
How did you find out about her? I mean, how did you get that connection?
Here's what's weird is on the gym page, somebody said, why are these diamonds all in Nashville? And somebody else said, oh, there's a Leslie Zann event. So I went on lesliezann.com and it said, sure enough, March 19th, Nashville. But when you clicked on the link, there was no place to sign up. There was no link. And so I emailed, I sent in where it said, contact us, and said, I'm really interested in the event tomorrow. Is it private? Is it full? What's going on? And this person emailed me back and said, send me your cell phone. I'm going to call you. And I'm thinking, it's her secretary. And I answered the phone and she says, Gwen, it's Leslie Zann. I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? Like, it's really you. And she was so sweet. She said, I wanted to make sure you're Plexus because it is a Plexus event. And she said, I tailor my events. And she talked about some back office stuff. She talked about our different levels. I mean, she tailors it to your company. And she was saying, here are all the things your company has going for it. And she was really positive. And she is actually a customer. Now, she said that she doesn't, she will not be anything but a retail customer for any other company besides whatever company is her primary company. She was a consultant for Roden and Fields for like 13 years when they were just getting started. So a lot of the top dogs in Roden and Fields, she didn't say Sarah Robbins, but I'm assuming, still consult with her privately. She helped get them started. And she still does private consulting. I went up and asked her, like, do you do one-on-one consulting and what does that cost? And she's like, you have to be a diamond. I'm like, oh, of course I have to be. So she still does a lot of that, and she does a lot of events and like emerging leaders things but your diamond has to recommend you for the emerging leaders thing. But I definitely recommend if you can get a hold of her stuff. And Kathy Terrell and I actually split. She had a deal of 2 different books she has and an annual thing where every month she sends you like a game plan for that month. And she really believes in having a plan for the year based on seasons and based on what's going on with your company. Like this time of year, we're more focused on PV than maybe any time of the year because of convention credits. And so she also talked about in our training, the first 2 weeks of the month, you focus on outreach. Then you start seeing that growth come back at the end of the month. And I'm like, never thought about having like a monthly strategy, So everything she does is very strategic. But yeah, I can't believe they didn't advertise. There were maybe 100 people there. They didn't really advertise. I guess except among their teams, it seemed like there were a lot of people from Cheyenne Weeble's team. But I didn't see any. There was one diamond named Amber, and I only recognized her by looking on Facebook. Nobody introduced themselves and said what their level was. But it was $45. It was worth every single penny.
My mom loved it. She came home, like, I think she needed that too.
Yeah.
She came really rejuvenated and excited.
Well, it was great and very strategic. And I'm going to share, what I thought about doing is maybe typing up my notes and sharing them with you guys. But I'll tell you, like Melissa Waldrop and I were talking about, some of the people were talking about their biggest fear, and their biggest fear is getting up in front of people and speaking. Well, I've done that for years now. I'm not really afraid of that. Or, leading your team in a training. Like I've done lots of trainings. I'm not afraid of that. What am I afraid of? And I started thinking, what I'm afraid of is doing nothing. Like the idea of just letting go. And that's really hard for me. It's hard for me with my kids, having adult children. I have 2, 18 and 20-year-old, and letting go and saying, I'm not going to tell you what I think. You have to decide. It's really hard for me. And so that's where I think I'm struggling moving to the next level of leadership. No matter how trustworthy or responsible, anybody is, it's that still wanting to be a part and make sure everything's getting done. And that's my confession to you all of what I feel like God's really working on me about, is that letting go, be still and know that I am God, you know. And that scripture in another place is interpreted as cease striving and know that I am God. And that idea of taking your hands off and trusting, you know, of course, with my new level ones, I mean, I've still got to keep training and doing and recruiting. And we all have to keep recruiting all the time. But at the same time, you know, I'd probably struggle with micromanaging. I don't want to do that. And if you all feel me doing that, I want you to privately message me and say, okay, you're doing it. Because I want to work on it. So I feel like I have to do that to get to the next level. As far as you guys doing the little quiz, there's a self quiz in there for you to do to kind of see what level you're at. And you don't have to even tell us what level you're at. But is there anything you really felt like kind of was revealed to you that maybe it's what you need to work on? If you want to share what level you're at, you can. There's no shame in any level.
Well, it's funny, you know, when you got to the part 4 and you had to total your levels down for part 1, 2, and 3, and then you total them across to get your predominant level. I was surprised that I thought my predominant level would have been level 3, but it actually put me at level 2. So I guess that just means I've got level 2 down pat, and I'm okay with level 3, but maybe I need to finish level 3 more, and then I can become more proficient level 4. I guess that's where I looked at it, because I thought I was pretty solid at level 3, but that wasn't my predominant one. But it did say it's, you know, it's just something to keep in mind as you're going through the book. It's not, you know, that's where you are. It's not supposed to grade you, I guess is the word, but it was there.
And I love at the end of each chapter, I don't know if you all have gotten this far because I've kind of read ahead, but he'll talk through that first level, and then at the end of the chapter be like, here are the things to work on to get to the next level. I love that. It kind of shows you those action items to move forward. Anybody else want to share something that you've gotten from it so far? I don't know how to have you guys fill it out on me and be able to do it anonymously. And I promise I'm not going to hold it against you, but if I were you, I'd probably be a little uncomfortable with that. Anybody have anything?
Well, we could send them all to Brandy, and she could mix them all up and then forward them to you.
Yeah, that would work.
Brandy,
do that.
We could do the same thing for Brandy with you.
Brady's not gonna be like, this one's Joni. She's really ticked.
No, I'll just send it to her in an unmarked envelope.
You know, and my thing is, I really want constructive criticism, and I know not everybody wants that. I really want that. I mean, I'm the parent who says, if my kid is being mean, I want to know. And I really do want to know. And if there's conflict with one of my kids, I'm the first one to say, what did you do? And that's not typical, but I really do want that, because I think it's really the only way to grow to the next level is to really know what I need to work on honestly, you know?
Well, I think good leaders are humble too, and I think that's important. It's one thing I didn't really find in the description, but if you're an encourager and you're there to see somebody else succeed, and your intent is for somebody else to succeed more than yourself, I think that describes the word humble. And I think that you have to be humble if you want somebody to be constructive with you, you know. So I had Amy, I had to call her because I forgot to have her do it and send it to me. So I had to have one of my level ones who's really gung ho right now with the business. And I also was her boss for a long time in the legal field. And so she was perfect to do it on me. And we were going through it, and I go, now, you know, at any time you can answer, no, you're not going to hurt my feelings. She goes, well, you know I would do it, right? I said, right. So we went through it. We were kind of laughing about it because it's interesting that as you go down, especially with somebody like her, where she can give me all the way up to 5. just because we know each other that well and
Right.
we've worked together on teams before and stuff like that. So, but I don't think there's some people on my team that would be able to put me past maybe a level 2 because of where, I'm just not willing to give much of my attention as I am to somebody like Amy, who's a strong business builder. So that's something I thought about too. I thought, well, would the same person that maybe doesn't want to build their business as much as Amy does get that much out of me as a leader? Maybe not. That was starting to concern me too.
Well, and because you all have a long-term relationship of trust, that affects it too. And that's the thing is, I really would prefer to have your all's feedback, not anonymously, because I'd like to be able to come back and say, okay, on this, let's see what one of the questions is. Randy, this will give you an idea.
My book just has not come in yet, but I'm sure I'll have it by maybe Tuesday.
Let's see what one of the leaders' assessments is. You've received specific training from this leader that's helped you to perform better. Like if one of you all circled no to that, I would want to come back to say, how can I do that better? How could I have helped you more? To be able to know specifically like who to reach out. So I think if anybody isn't comfortable giving it to me directly, please send it to Brandy. I want the feedback. But I would really love to hear from you directly and for you to be just real brutally honest to say like, mine would be like, you feel like you try to step out on your own and she's still checking up on you. Yes, that would be Gwen. You're checking yes. And then I know like, oh, I've got to watch that. I know Joni can take off. I don't need to be checking on her. Whatever it is. But for me to know how to lead each person better, I want to know how to do that. And I know I haven't arrived.
Well, let me just say, Gwen, I totally would have appreciated this in my old job because before I left, I had several different district managers with my pharmaceutical sales, but I had this one, and her name was Lily, and she was a doozy. She was just downright mean, and I would have loved to have been able for her to say, please tell me what you think about my managing skills. I might have gotten fired because I might have been too brutally honest with her. But I think it's so great to have that open communication and to be able to be honest. And I would have probably done it gently and told her some of the things that I felt like she was a little harsh on. But it could have made her a better person, and she ended up getting fired. So, who knows if that could have helped her in the long run.
Yeah, she could have saved her job maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, could have. But she was something else. And I thought, I was just sitting here thinking, wow, I would have loved to have had that open communication line. I think it's great.
I had this laying on my desk, and one of our partners came in on Friday, and he goes, "Oh, that's a great book. I'm just impressed that you're reading that." And I go, Are you planning on putting some committees together or something? I said, just for another business. Sorry.
I'm working myself out of this job.
In here. Yeah. Oh, Lord.
I'm hoping in a year I'm going to be out of here with my free Lexus. So sorry. Well, I would really, I'm asking you all for your feedback, for your honest feedback in that section, that has a questionnaire about your leader, and either to send it to me directly or to send it to Brandy, either way, whatever you're comfortable with. And I think the thing is, as we acknowledge that we need to grow and want to grow, and we get feedback from our teams, it will help us grow. And I never understood, when Sarah Marble would be like, I'm so into personal development. Personal development is so important. And I would just be like, yeah, that's reading a book. Give me some action items. Tell me what to do, to grow my team. And I'm really seeing what we're doing so much bigger than health products. And it's so much bigger than even growing in rank and getting to Emerald. It's really about helping other people become all that God created them to be. And you can have people that are doing all the right things. They're posting every day. They're following up. They're reaching out to new people. They're doing all the things you would put on a list for them to do, all the action items. And they're not seeing fruit. And typically it's because they don't have the influence yet that they need to have to really be making that difference. And the only way they're going to get there is a change from the inside. And a change from the inside is only going to happen with personal development. And I really saw that with our first Go for Silver group. We had some people doing all the right things. I mean, do. I'm giving them action items. But then when I say to them, like, okay, well, show me what the conversation is like that you're having, with a prospect. And their conversation is, well, I don't know if you would even think about it, but you might want to check out my website, and these products are really awesome, and maybe they could help you. And you just see, like, they believe maybe in the products, they believe in the company, but they don't believe in themselves. And people pick up on that. And if you don't believe in yourself and your ability to really make a difference in the life of your customer or your level one, then you're not going to have a big impact in their life. And believing in yourself and knowing what you're really capable of, who God created you to be, and walking in that with confidence, you can only go so far. So I think we're growing people. I mean, it's crazy, but we're growing people and growing each other. And as we all give each other that honest feedback, and as maybe you have a level one who's a go-getter and they're right on top of it, they're not seeing the fruit, you got to pray and ask God, like, okay, show me how to help this person. And so often it may be taking them back to the Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, or the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And that's probably what I'm going to want to do next, that do it with more levels than just you guys, and really go through how to lead and what qualities make a good leader. But I think when we see somebody stall like that and you see them doing the right things, you start to realize, like what Sarah Marble's talking about, like it's really about helping them grow personally. Even if they quit Plexus, never do it again, you could have a permanent impact on their life, really.
That's why I think level 2 is an important level to get. Level 1 is too, but level 2 is super important to go forward effectively, because the personal side of it, just knowing their strengths and weaknesses, knowing a little bit about their background, is important to have that relationship with them. If you don't have a relationship with them, they're not going to have that trust. I just thought that made a lot of sense.
Does anybody else want to share maybe how the quiz helped you, or where you found out you were, or maybe things that made you think about that you hadn't thought about before? Somebody's ready for bed. Okay, well, next week, you will tell me if we do chapter 1 and try to cover all of position, which is level 1, that takes us to page 82. So that's like 50 pages. Is that too much to do in a week? My thing is, I don't want this to drag out 10 weeks.
Right.
We have a lot of growth to do to meet our goals by June or July, for our action sheets that we all set. And I think this is important. I want us to have plenty of time to finish the chapter, but I don't know that I want it to be a 10 or 12 week thing either. What I want to see is you all take this stuff and kind of, we take it to the next level and take it to your downlines, and start something with them. What do you all think? Is that too much?
No, and I suggest, this is what I always tell the girls in my Bible study, is you should try, even if you can read all of the pages, you need to come to the study. And you can be a Ruth and you can glean from the fields, because there's so much information here. Even if you can't do it all, you can still get a lot of great information from other people, and it's okay. You know, it's just like sharing Flex's post. We don't mind sharing what we've read if you haven't had a chance to finish it, because you can really go back to it. So I think you're right. I think we don't want to spend that many weeks on it, but I also don't want it to keep people from joining because they haven't finished it, even if that seem like a lot of pages in 1 week.
Right. Well, let's do that. Let's try to get to page 83, which is starting on level 2 provision by next week. Read what you can. I think
So that's
everything that we get in is good.
Sounds good.
I don't have mine again. 83, that's just chapter 1, right?
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
on position. That's on
Okay.
level 1, which is position. And so we'll kind of do that and do 1 week per level and wrap it up. Now, I'm going to be gone the first full week of April is our spring break. I know there'll be several of us out of
That's
pocket.
ours too.
I can still do it because the truth is I have more time to read on spring break than I have in regular life. But that may not be true of everyone. That second week, I'm going to be in Germany. I don't even know. It'll be 3 a.m. or something there. And Dirk Auger said it's 6 hours difference. So, but whatever I've got to do, I've got to do, because my body's going to be messed up anyway. We're leaving on Saturday, so by Sunday, I'm still going to think it's 8:30 at night. So if we want to stick to the same time and try it, we can. So for right now, let's plan on next week doing that full chapter 1 of position, do the quiz and the full chapter 1 of position. Please do the feedback on my leadership and either send it to me or to Brandy. And if you all want to poll your level 1s, the same thing. They're not comfortable sending it to you and they want to send it to me. Just have them be sure and put their name on it and your name on it so I can make sure you get that feedback. So we all kind of have an idea, where we really are compared to where we think we are. It's kind of scary. It's kind of like me getting on the scales or me guessing how much I weigh and then me having everybody else guess how much I weigh. Like, I don't know if I want to know, but I do want to know. So anything else? I don't want to keep you long. I really want to keep these between 30 and 45 minutes. So it doesn't take up our whole evening. Anything else that you all want to add or ask?
No.
Okay. Thank you all for joining in. I think it's going to be really worthwhile and beneficial. I think we'll look back and go, that was the perfect time before we all started on the big jewel run, that we got that in and kind of figured out, okay, here's what we need for the next level. So,
Okay.
and I'll try to get some of that Leslie Zan stuff together and share with you guys. I think we're probably going to do a Zoom call soon or training about 3-way calls. She had some great ideas about spontaneous 3-way calls where you're talking to a perspective, and she recommended more 3-way calls for perspectives than even welcome calls. But where you're talking to a perspective on the phone and you go, hey, this will be fun. Hold on a minute. Put them on hold, call somebody else, and maybe I would call any of you all, any of the 5 of you. You have 4 or 5 people you can always call and say like, okay, Joni, I've got so-and-so on the line. I want you to get on here and tell your business story. Or Tanya, I want you to get on here and tell your health story. You do a 3-minute, 2 or 3 sentence health story. Get them back on. Hey, this is my friend Tanya. She's lost 80 pounds and I just want her to tell you real quick her story. And so she tells her story. She gets back off the phone. Boom, they sign up.
Mm-hmm.
And she said it's great. And then they don't even know what's coming. So it's not like, hey, let me get my upline on a 3-way call with you. And they go, no, I don't want to do that. So I don't even have a chance really to do that. You just kind of do it. And it's very, very effective. So anyway, we'll do some training about that soon. It was pretty good.
Okay. Do we have any training coming or any team meeting stuff coming up or Zoom call?
I think Erin is going to do a Zoom call. We talked about it, or well, kind of messaged back and forth last week about doing a Zoom call about the back office and how to navigate the back office. I mean, there's a lot of people who are really unsure on how to set up their backup order. And there are a lot of orders or a lot of accounts in our downline that say deleted, and people don't realize that it says deleted on their backup orders. So I just told her, I said, we need help. We need some instruction, and she thought maybe doing a Zoom call would be best for that kind of training. So I do know she thought about doing something this week, and I'm hoping that she does, because I feel like everybody needs to know, kind of going back to the basics, like put your order on unconditional, regardless if you have your $100 sales, you still want your products. I mean, my next door neighbor, Amy, she's my friend, and she didn't get her products last month because she had hers on conditional, and she didn't even realize they were on conditional. But it's just little things like that people need to maybe just a review. I mean, maybe everybody knows it, but we have a lot of new people that I think I'm just assuming everybody knows what it means, and we're looking over that. So she's gonna go over some of that stuff. I'm gonna ask her again, make sure she does it this week or next week.
Perfect.
And don't forget, tomorrow night we have Helen McFadden on Aaron Diamond Call. So tune in. I think last week there weren't nearly as many of us participating as possible, and I think because the time change and getting back in school and stuff, but it'll be really good with Helen McFadden. So she's shooting for 50 people. And then Thursday.
No, it's not Helen McFadden, is it?
Sonia Dudley.
Yeah,
It is.
Dudley.
Helen
Helen McFadden was last week.
No, I was thinking, I say Sonia's in jail. Remember, they wanted to get her out by getting 50 people.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm sorry, but while I got Gwen, you guys set up a Zoom call for the Go for Silver and 10 for Thursday night. So, or do I need to figure that out?
So I didn't set that up, but I can.
I think that we set it up for 8:30 your time, which is 9:30 our time. I think those are pretty good times for people. Or even 8 o'clock.
Thursday. And I'm hoping I can be on that call, but I don't know for sure, because we have the event in Virginia. Brandy and I are traveling to Virginia for Tracy Chandler's.
Both of you will be in the pocket, huh?
So you all say a prayer, but the event starts at 6:30 Eastern. So I'm hoping by then we can get on for at least a little bit of that.
Okay. That puts you at 9:30. Yeah. Okay.
So this is their first live event. So say a prayer for them. They've got a lot of like 25, active team members. We're praying for a good turnout for that. So
awesome. Okay.
Exciting. And we talked about maybe doing a live event later this month, like the 29th on a Tuesday in Madisonville. So Allison is helping us work that out if we're going to do it at the country club. So we'll let you know more too about that and if and how.
Is that date definite?
What?
Is that date definite?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I saw today in our church bulletin, there's like an Easter, some kind of an Easter program with the Glen Mamar that night. I mean, I don't know that would really be affect what we're doing, but something to take into consideration.
Well, and we can wait till April if we need to. It doesn't have to happen this month.
It's the elementary parent-teacher conference night, too.
Oh, that's not good.
Okay.
That's not good. We may need to wait till April. Will that work out?
That's why I was out for the 29th.
That works better for me.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to have one as soon as possible, but I can't do the 29th.
Yeah. We better, if that's okay, Allison, we better postpone that until later. So we'll do it next month. Maybe we'll do an online event. I don't know. We'll work it out. But we're a little bit short of our goals for this month. So I was trying to get in something, to get it going. So it's motivated.
Well, Marina McKay and I are going to do an online event, the Post My Party. So that's to be on the 31st on Thursday. So I'm going to announce that to our team because I think the more the better. The more we have on there and the more participants we have and the more responders we have, the better off it's going to be. So
that might be good too, Joni, for the Go for Silvers.
Is the online event?
If they're going to do an online event anyway, the 31st.
But the goal for, okay, because the goal for silvers will be done by then, the 10, right?
Yeah, they'll be finished, but it'll be like the week after that.
Okay.
It might be a good time for them to follow up with their people. I don't know.
Did we do an online event during the Go for Silver and 7?
We did, but because it ends on a weekend, we ended up with a Saturday and Sunday event, and I just don't think that's good.
Okay.
Better to do a weeknight, kind of after
Well, this looked like
kids in bed.
Okay, that sounds good.
And we might could even do that Tuesday night instead of doing a live event. Tuesday night, the 29th. Do one just for the Go for Silvers. You know, do an online party just for them. Something to think about. We can talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, because Brandy can always just add to the page if she's doing an online event and say, just like you did with the other ones, that if they're going to be kind of monitoring it, but get people to invite them into their first online event for that as well.
I think it's great to go ahead and get the Go for Silvers in on a Zoom call, in on a 3-way call, in on an online event, so those things are not foreign to them anymore and they're not afraid of them.
I agree.
Get that out of the way. Kind of baptism by fire, you know, and then they're not afraid of those things. Because if they wait, they tend to kind of be like, I don't know about an online event.
Yeah.
I don't know about a 3-way call. That makes me nervous. So, okay, well, let's wrap it up. Thanks, everybody. Enjoy a little bit
Bye,
the
y'all.
weekend. Okay, see you later.
Bye.